Every brand needs to use video. Today, we'll discuss brand video and how it's evolving beyond a mere selling platform. Plus, we'll talk about brands that use video, and maybe we'll even have a little time to discuss brand videos that went viral. Welcome to the West Michigan Content Strategy Meetup. I'm your hostess, Laura Bergells, and with me is Scott Smith, our event co-host. Say hi, Scott.
Hello.
And our special guest speaker today is Dennis Ryan. He's a freelance writer and speaker, and he's coming to us live from the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Say hi, Dennis.
Hello.
Did you lose Dennis? Okay.
Nope, I'm here.
Dennis first came to my attention when Scott pointed him out to me. He wrote a post for LinkedIn Pulse called Why Every Brand Needs to Use Video on Video, and I thought the post was terrific. So Scott is a colleague of Dennis's, and he got in touch with him and asked him if he'd like to discuss video live here on YouTube. And Dennis said, sure, what the heck? And here we are. We're keeping this meta today. We'll be talking about video on video. So how meta is that? Dennis will be presenting to us for about 15 minutes today in a segment we'll call Brand Video Evolving Beyond a Selling Platform. And while Dennis is chatting, I'd like to invite you, our audience members, to ask questions and comments in the live stream area. Scott and I will be scanning your written commentary while Dennis is talking. And please note, if you want to participate in the live chat, you do have to log in with your Google account credentials. And here's a special request. If your brand is not using video today, I'd like you to think about what's stopping you. So if you could pop those reasons into the live stream comments too, and also feel free to type in any of your comments and questions and thoughts while Dennis is presenting. But just so you know, Scott and I will be off camera, and we won't interrupt Dennis while he's talking, and not unless you type something really urgent like, I can't hear you, I can't see you, there's a monster behind you, he looks hungry, something like that. In other words, we'll hold all your questions and comments about brand video until the very end of Dennis's presentation. But for now, let me tell you just a little bit about Dennis Ryan. His career as an advertising creative ranges from copywriter to CEO. And today, he serves as a creative collaborator and content developer with businesses and in-house agencies. But since Dennis is here today to talk about brand video, let me hone in on just a few of his video triumphs. As a chief creative officer, Dennis helped create many award-winning videos, including YouTube Videos of the Day, Clio Awards for terrific commercials, as well as OMA Awards for viral success. And rawr, Dennis also once served as a Cannes film jurist. So right now, I am going to hand it over to Dennis. And Dennis, take it away.
Thank you, Laura. Can you hear me? Is this working?
Sure can.
There we go. Hi, I'm Dennis Ryan, and as Laura said, I used to be that TV guy. You know the type. We're the kinds that believe broadcast would never change except for maybe the dimensions of the aspect ratio once we moved to HD. Well, suffice to say, I spent the last decade catching up. You know, I changed cities, I changed agencies, I changed jobs, disciplines. I got up early, I stayed up late, and now I kind of probably the same place a lot of you are, realizing we're all kind of meeting in the middle. And as while I'm not really that fired up to get back to maybe making another television ad, I am more excited than ever about video, about how it can be used and about all the places it can go. I'm not even going to touch on VR and AR or anything like that. I'm just going to talk simple video. But before I get into the presentation too much, I need to make two caveats. First, just so you know, my perspective is that all attention is earned, that we can't count on anything because distraction is endemic in our society. And when you really think about it, hold on. Someone liked my Instagram. Distraction just happens to all of us. And we've got to count on distraction being there. So when you think about distraction and what that means, it means that we have to assume that we have to earn attention. And the best way to deal with that assumption is always to consider not markets, but audiences. You earn an audience. You draw an audience, attract them by giving them something they want. And unless you're doing that, you're not going to have any luck. I mean, think about it. You're watching a TV spot, a TV show, it goes to commercial. You're checking your phone, or you're just fast forwarding it because you DVR'd it. Technology allows us to miss commercial messaging. So that's why we really got to look at everyone as an audience to be earned. And the second thing I want to talk about is I'm not even going to mention anything about explainer videos. Explainer videos are awesome. I mean, I learned to change the soft top on my Jeep from an explainer video on YouTube. They work wonderfully, but they're not artful. There's no art to an explainer video. And that's, I think, while it's very effective, it's not really relevant here because explainer videos don't use video's greatest strength. And what is video's greatest strength? Well, let me show you an ad from 2003 that I think really makes that extremely clear. Now, hold on here a second. This is where things went sideways in the practice. Let's go. Here we go. And I'm going to share this screen.
Many of you feel bad for this lamp. That is because you're crazy. It has no feelings, and the new one is much better.
That says it all. That is one heartbreaking lamp. But think about it. Sight and sound work perfectly to create this emotional connection, this incredibly powerful emotion that's worked up in 60 seconds. It doesn't happen outside of video. Nothing conveys emotion like video. Video can make people feel, it can make people care, and despite our rational brains, we're a species driven by emotion. So that's really what I want to talk about today, how brand video has evolved beyond just simply a selling platform. And to answer that, let's check out the data. The primary driver of all of this evolution is probably something this audience is extremely familiar with. And that's basically the incredible power of how video supercharges SEO. According to ComScore, adding a video to a website makes earning the front page on Google 53 times more likely. 53 times. That's an incredible statistic. And so frankly, I double checked. I went here. This is a really beautiful video on an HTML5 site for a yacht company. It's called The Yacht Company. I love their URL, y.co. Anyway, it's a very sweet thing because look at that lifestyle they're selling, the beauty, all that luxury. It looks really, really nice. And that'd be a really great shoot to be on. But I then went to Google and just checked to see if this had any effect. So I typed in luxury yacht charter and then got the results, scrolled down the first page, and sure enough, there's the yacht company right there. So video clearly works. In fact, if you talk to data technology company, the Aberdeen Group, they'll tell you that websites that use video generate 41% more traffic from search than non-users. This is all search-based. And secondly, marketers using video grew revenue 49% faster than non-users. Those are amazing statistics. And again, a great argument for why should be using video. Today, every client should be using video to accomplish three critical tasks: communication, affiliation, and best of all, inspiration. These are three uses, each tied to specific reasons and data points. Let's start with communication. There's a widely circulated finding from a 2015 survey by the online video app maker Animoto. It said that for communication, 4 times as many people prefer to watch a video about a product than read about them. Apparently, we never really outgrow show and tell. So what should we communicate if it's so preferred? Well, companies can use video as a great platform to communicate through things like testimonials. interviews, case studies, topical commentary, and yes, even webinars. Basically, using video as a communications platform allows company, brands, and even individuals a way that they can really powerfully assert authority. So right here, even if that authority is the blender world, now this is Tom Dixon, who we all just love, talking about blend tech. You know, he's the founder, he's the mad scientist. These things have taken off like crazy and really helped build his brand, which is pretty fun. Communicating well through video does build tremendous credibility. Like this guy. This is Scott Galloway. He's both a professor at the NYU Stern School of Business and the founder of a company called L2. It's a digital data research firm. He releases video regularly on topical subjects, often about winners and losers in the digital world. And by releasing a number of these kind of things, they're timely, they're topical, they're very informed and strongly opinionated. Scott Galloway asserts both his own and his company's authority in a very compelling manner. Another way video has evolved is as a means for fostering affiliation, to declare your brand and your audience's like-mindedness. In a world driven by social media, values and feelings carry far more influence on public opinion than facts or rational argument. And people engage much more with video than text. So actually, if you look at Brightcove, which is a video hosting service, says social video generates 1,200% more shares than text and images combined, and they're already way ahead. And this is what drives the whole purpose movement. People want to align with companies and organizations that share their values. So you can build affiliation through things like mission and values videos, corporate vision videos, year in reviews, onboarding films, and social content. Affiliation can be a very powerful way to build alignment. And this is exactly something we did at Olson after our client Ecolab had just gone through an almost $8 billion merger with a company called Nabisco. So to align the organization around one vision, their CEO, Doug Baker, and his whole management team presented this video at every meeting they had for 6 months. There's a shared kind of pride-building experience. All it did allowed two different organizations to come together around one vision. They just showed this at every meeting. And so people realized what the company stood for, and it made an emotional connection, which was really nice. Another thing that I think video is incredibly powerful for is inspiration. Now, there's a great social psychologist out of Stanford named Stephanie Acker, and she did a study on stories and found they were 20 times more memorable than facts, which is amazing. And that's why if you're going to sit there and you're going to tell a story about, I don't know, something like Volvo truck auto steering technology, something like this is pretty cool. The godfather of all great virals of the recent vintage. And the thing with Jean-Claude is because these two trucks are steering automatically, they're actually going backwards. I don't think a lot of people actually realize that, which always kind of made me laugh. There are many places that you can build inspiration. You can use in-store video, you can use behind the scenes, leadership documentaries, brand films, even like environmental installations, which are particularly interesting. Here is a great way that you use inspiration to kind of create loyalty, and this is done by the North Face. This piece is pretty amazing. If you're holiday shopping, you go into North Face, you will see this. And all it is, you know, brand films usually allow you to talk about details of manufacturing, product details, things like that. They use this to sell lifestyle and to tell a really interesting story about the adventure and the attraction of outdoor living. Look at this kid and what he starts noticing on his rather boring drive to school. Google it, you know, you can find it on YouTube. It's pretty spectacular, and it's just a great lifestyle thing for the North Face brand. If you don't get to a store, just look at it online. There's something else, and I talked about using environments. This is actually the office building for the Azure team for Microsoft. They do all their cloud-based stuff, and they asked us to try to bring the outside in and create something that was interactive. So this actually uses the Kinect system and creates kind of a computer-generated video and lighting, and actually some interesting sound as well. Just so each time you go through, it reacts to your movement, your speed, the amount of people. And again, you can use video in interesting ways, and this is a way to kind of inspire people in a rather boring office building. I'm now going to turn it over to Scott, who's going to field questions, probably many of which are, why didn't this guy know anything about technology? I apologize for that goofiness, but Scott?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, awesome. Most of the questions were comments about not being able to see anything, so we're going to work around that for now. Okay, so how about if I start with a question as a primer? Now, as somebody who's done video in some form or another for, I won't say how many years, but a lot.
Lots.
Okay, but what are some of the changes, like just since in the past year, that you think are very different than when you used to be shooting a Super Bowl shot, which was many months in advance? You probably have a lot shorter turnaround time from clients like Microsoft who want to promote their cloud storage and service and things like that, and you did with, say, a company that's going to promote lunch meat and cheese.
Yep.
The Super Bowl.
There are two major changes. Actually, they all get down to technology. You've heard a lot about 4K and even 12K shooting. Now think about you're at a convention. You have 1, 10, 8 or 12K camera in the back. It's got so much information that in a wide shot, an editor can then move in and take this little piece of the thing and make that full screen, this and make that full screen. And what it does as far as cost savings and production increase is ridiculous. You don't need as many camera operators, and you can still get the sense of a multi-camera experience. Another thing that's changed is the cost of LED screens. I mean, the idea of getting an 8K screen that's 40 feet by 120 feet, it's crazy. But if you went to U2's last concert, you saw the world's biggest one, and it was breathtaking. And what that can do, and candidly, I believe shopping malls are going to get smart about the use of video and environments, and that will be a new place to take it, and it'll create a sense of drama and interest and draw people in, which is, we're all just bugs attracted to bright lights, so that's a really good thing. And then lastly, and you mentioned this, is the fact that on my phone, I've got more video power and frankly, production power than I had in regular advertising in 1984 when I first got into it. And so my point is, if you've got a 4K camera just on your phone and the ability to edit and the ability to this is the democratization of production. This is why you're seeing more direct from filmmaker to audience kind of movements enabled by platforms like Vimeo and YouTube. And to me, that's really where it gets exciting because, yeah, I loved having a markup and I thought that was great. The industry's been disrupted because now a smart guy, a recent college graduate and film school graduate, 23, she can still put together something that's going to draw 12 million eyeballs. And that's kind of amazing because it used to not be affordable. Now it very much is.
Okay, you're the one that said 1984. I wasn't going to reveal the beginning time. Anyway, going back to something that you had touched on in one of your blog posts, and this came up a couple times in some of our meetups. We have one member that we don't know where he lives at the moment, but he and his family, they travel around the country in an RV. But he had mentioned the same point, and that some very different engagement levels reported with the video, the vertical format, which is defies everything that people have always said about video. And I would think that's completely due to consumption habits that people hold their phone vertically.
1,000%. I mean, actually not 86% or 90. I'll have to look up the thing, but it's literally a very high percentage of the time when you're holding your phone, you're holding it this way. And it used to make me crazy. Until I finally just gave into the data. When you grow up making film, you love. Heck, you want to make widescreen. You want to go as wide as you can, and HD actually helped that. It was an interesting time going from standard definition to HD with its wider aspect ratio. But because so much video is, yes, we've got well over 300 hours uploaded of new content uploaded to YouTube every minute. But that's not all, David Lean kind of, Lawrence of Arabia quality production. A lot of it is like, oh, here's my kitty, and that kind of thing is great. But that's also intimate. If I'm talking to you on YouTube or something like that, I'm just talking to Scott, so I might as well be shot vertically because that makes sense. It just feels like we're talking. You do this, and suddenly I'm distant. It's further back. You have to compose more, and it feels more formal. So much of our communication on video, particularly, is much more instantaneous. It's a communications platform. So that's why the vertical format makes a lot of sense.
Okay, how about when do you see seeing too much video? And what would be the next frontier? Would it be assisted reality, or augmented reality, virtual reality?
I mean, people have been working on it's interesting. The technology for video conference calls was around during the Second World War. And it took a very long time for people to actually decide they wanted it. You know what? If I'm making a phone call, I don't want to have to comb my hair. I just want to make the phone call or whatever and reach my friend Scott. So you really, the appetite of what's possible and then what's desired, those are two different things. But I do think AR is going to be a pretty major player. There's just so much data in the world, the ability to suddenly see someone and be reminded what their name is just by some kind of cue in your glasses. That would be kind of awesome. Not to mention wayfinding, all the different things you could do. And of course, then it'll quickly turn into an advertising platform. And oh, there's only a Dunkin' Donuts two blocks away, and I can get a large coffee and a donut for $2.50. You know, that's inevitably going to become part of it. I believe AR is going to be big. VR, I'm not as bullish on. I think it's very interesting. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure, but we'll see. You know, again, it's you make these grand claims, and then 2 years later you look like a big schmuck. So it's very interesting. I do really though believe in the power of video as an environment creator, as it literally a space can be changed so powerfully by walls and screens of video and what imagery you put there. And I think that's going to be a big deal. Given the cost of construction, you can literally freshen a place regularly just by changing video. So I think that's going to be something you'll see a lot more in retail environments and certainly even office installations.
As a New Englander, finding a Dunkin' Donuts was never a problem until I moved to the Midwest. So, perhaps that's the assistive technology I need.
There's one in Minneapolis at the airport. So that's the only good side of traveling. I can get a Dunkin' Donuts.
Hey, I wanted to break in because I didn't mention earlier to our watchers or to our audience that Dennis is a brand consultant, and you'll want to know how to get in touch with him. You can connect with Dennis on LinkedIn, and I have his profile. Where do I have it? It is LinkedIn /in Dennis Ryan Inc. Do I have that right?
You do indeed. That'll do.
No middle name or anything? Dennis Ryan
No,
Inc.
just yeah, I keep it kind of simple if I can. That helps.
Terrific. Well, I'll put that on the comments below. I'll put his website and some other contact information down there as well. Is there anything else before we sign off today that you'd like to close with?
Well, first of all, I apologize for technical difficulties. I'll do my best to download the video, put up the actual imagery over it, and then re-upload it if I can, because this is having an audio-visual presentation without video seems wrong. So anyway, we'll get that fixed. I apologize for that, and I thank you for your patience and sticking with us. We can
fix that in post.
That's the classic answer. Fix it in post.
Well, thanks to everyone who joined us today. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll talk about brand video and other content management and content strategy later on in the year. January and February are coming. Thanks for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.